Why you keep waiting for a clear sign before changing your life. The pattern interrupt. What if the sign you've been waiting for has already arrived, but you keep rejecting it because it doesn't look dramatic enough? Many people spend years waiting for certainty, clarity, confidence, motivation, or permission before making a change. Yet the life they want remains trapped behind a door they refuse to open until they feel completely ready. The hard truth is that readiness rarely comes first. Movement does. The relatable struggle. You tell yourself you'll start when you're more confident. You'll apply when you're more qualified. You'll speak up when you're less anxious. You'll pursue the dream when you feel certain. But what if confidence isn't something you find before the journey? What if confidence is something you build because of the journey? The New Dawn perspective. A new dawn rarely arrives with fireworks. Most transformations begin quietly. A growing dissatisfaction, a recurring thought, an idea that won't leave you alone, a feeling that you've outgrown your current reality. These subtle signals are often the very signs we dismiss while waiting for something louder. One of the greatest psychological traps is the belief that major life changes require major certainty. We imagine successful people woke up one morning completely sure of themselves. We assume they possessed an extraordinary level of confidence before taking action. But in reality, most meaningful transformations begin in uncertainty. The entrepreneur doesn't know if the business will work. The student doesn't know if they'll succeed. The artist doesn't know if anyone will appreciate their work. The person leaving a toxic relationship doesn't know what comes next. The individual starting over doesn't know where the new path leads, yet they move anyway, not because certainty arrived, because courage did. Modern culture has conditioned us to believe that uncertainty is a problem to solve, but uncertainty is not always a warning sign. Sometimes uncertainty is evidence that you are stepping beyond the limits of your current experience. The human brain craves predictability. Predictability feels safe. Familiarity feels secure. Even when the familiar is making us miserable. This is why people often stay in situations they have already outgrown. Not because they enjoy them, but because the known feels less threatening than the unknown. The brain frequently chooses familiar discomfort over unfamiliar possibility. Think about how many dreams are postponed because someone is waiting for a perfect sign, a better time, more confidence, more money, more knowledge, more certainty. Yet years pass. The sign never arrives. Or perhaps it does arrive repeatedly, but because it isn't dramatic enough, it gets ignored. Sometimes the sign is simply exhaustion, the realization that your current path is draining your spirit. Sometimes the sign is boredom, a deep knowing that you've stopped growing. Sometimes the sign is curiosity, an idea that continues returning no matter how often you dismiss it. Sometimes the sign is frustration, not because something is wrong, but because your soul is asking for expansion. One of the most liberating realizations in life is understanding that clarity often follows action. It rarely precedes it. Many people are standing still waiting to see the entire staircase. Life rarely works that way. More often, you see the first step. Then the second appears after you've taken the first. Then the third reveals itself after you've taken the second. This process feels uncomfortable because it requires trust. Trust not in certainty. Trust in your ability to adapt. Trust in your ability to learn. Trust in your ability to recover from mistakes. Trust in yourself. And this is where many people struggle. The real issue is often not uncertainty about the future. It is uncertainty about themselves. They don't trust their ability to handle whatever happens next. So they keep collecting information, researching, planning, preparing, thinking, analyzing, waiting. not realizing that preparation has quietly become procrastination. At some point, growth requires action. Not perfect action, not guaranteed action, just action. Mind Care is self-care teaches that self-trust is built through evidence. Every small step you take becomes proof that you can navigate uncertainty. Every challenge you survive becomes evidence of resilience. Every risk you take strengthens your relationship with yourself. You begin realizing that confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is the memory of all the times you moved forward despite fear. A new dawn does not ask whether you feel ready. It simply arrives. The sun rises whether you have a plan or not. Life continues whether you make a move or not. The question is whether you will continue waiting for a sign that may never feel sufficient, or whether you will recognize that the discomfort you feel right now might already be the invitation. Perhaps the restlessness is the sign. Perhaps the dissatisfaction is the sign. Perhaps the recurring dream is the sign. Perhaps the quiet voice inside that keeps whispering, "There has to be more than this," is the sign. You do not need a perfect roadmap. You do not need complete certainty. You do not need everyone else's approval. You only need enough courage to take the next step. Because sometimes the greatest transformation of your life begins the moment you stop waiting for a sign and realize that you have become one for yourself. And that is where every new dawn truly begins.